Hola, darlings. It's Mo.B.Outside, and I am here with my good friend, Luke Carlos O'Reilly, and we are here to talk about his upcoming project and his launch party. So if you know me, you know that I'm here to interview Philadelphia's finest creatives, curators, and business owners. How you doing?
I'm great.
All
Thank
right,
you.
so for the people that don't know who you are, because I literally, when I walked up to him and I was fangirling hard, y'all. Like, I've been a fan since I went to go see him at Time for the first time, since he was at the Man. No, you were at the Kimmel. When you were at the Kimmel doing all of that work, yeah, like fangirling. But anyway, so if they don't know who you are, who am I talking to?
Well, I am a pianist. I now have to add an educator because I've been doing so much education work.
Okay.
Mentoring with the young folks, but I am mainly a performer. This is gonna be my fourth solo album.
Come on.
And yeah, I'm very excited about this one. But I've been in Philadelphia for 24 years. I graduated from Temple to you, and I still represent to you.
Oh, yes.
Yep. And I'm just out here trying to make some music, trying to make some money, trying to make people happy, and trying to enjoy my time doing it. That's
All right.
basically it.
So what makes this album special? You said this is album number 4, but it is special. So what makes this different from the other 3?
This is special because this is my first trio album.
Okay.
All my other albums, I've had this person, that person. I've had as many people as I could get on the album. But this album, the gentleman who actually produced the album, Orrin Evans, who's a good friend of mine, he's a great pianist here in Philadelphia. He not only is putting me on his label, this is my second album on his label, Imani Records. Shout out to my Imani Records family. But he also produced the album, and he said, man, we gotta do a trio album because they need to really be able to hear you. Because when you have a vocalist, you have horn players, you know,
Right.
you're kind of hiding in the cut, and, you know, I get to do my thing and be cute or whatever, you know. And,
Not
just
and
play a
be
little.
cute.
No, but you know, I let them do, if you hire the right people, you don't have to do a lot of work. I mean, not that I was hiding, but trio album is very, very, very exposing, you know, and it's a different thing for me. Plus, I got some amazing musicians. I got Little John Roberts, who's from Philadelphia. You might have heard him with, God, he's been touring with Janet Jackson for a minute. He's
Nice.
one of the greatest to do it. He teaches at Berkeley. He's up there right now, but amazing cat. I got Jerome Jennings, a great drummer that I've been playing with for about 20 years, but I've
Wow.
never recorded with him. A cat named Vicente Archer, who's an amazing bass player who did a whole lot of work with Robert Glasper. I know you listen to Robert Glasper.
100%.
Yeah, and so you've heard Vicente before, and then Matthew Parrish. So I have basically 2 trios that I'm working with on this album, and it's also I do have a couple compositions, but mainly the purpose of the album was to dedicate some of my work to those who have left the door open for me, left the gate open for me, you know.
Okay.
So I used to work with some old heads by the name of Curtis Fuller, amazing trombonist who played with the great John Coltrane. Dave Valentine, who was a great flautist. He played he played with all the Latin jazz cats. But I used to kind of come up underneath these people, and they fed into me. And this album is really a tribute to a lot of those people who have fed into me and really, really sewed into my, you know, my upbringing as a musician. And I just wanted to kind of dedicate something to them, you know,
Okay.
to honor them.
It seems like serendipitous that you're going to have this album and you're going to have your launch party on Valentine's Day. Like, it feels like there's a lot of alignment going on there, yes?
There is. Actually, it was originally going to be Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday.
Okay.
We pushed it back, and then when Orrin told me, hey man, we're going to do it at World Cafe Live on the 14th of February. I was like, that's Valentine's Day. He's like, yeah, yes it is. You know, so love, I mean, you know, we could get all deep into love, but I mean, I have a lot of love for these cats that have really, really given me a lot, and I have a lot of love for the students that I work with, and it's all this kind of all aligned, you know, I mean, you get, somebody gives to you, you got to give, you know, pay it forward. So, hey, a day of love, and especially for somebody I'm not the biggest Valentine's Day person.
And a lot of people aren't Valentine's Day people, but
it can be dope. It can be dope, especially if you, you know, it depends on how you spend it. If you're spending around people you really do care about, you know, we're gonna have a whole lot of people out next Wednesday. It's gonna be a lot of family. So it's going to be a different type of love vibe than maybe some other people are experiencing. But we do welcome the couples as well. I have a lot of couples that are coming out. Yeah.
So this is an event that you can go solo. You can, sit at the bar, get a table for one, whatever you'd like to do. Do get cute though, y'all. You might find your little woo-woo, your little something
You
at
never
World Cafe
know.
Live,
You
right?
never know.
That's what I'm saying. Smelling good, looking good. Okay, so we're gonna listen to your love of music through this album, through your latest album, 4th of July, listen to me. Valentine's Day, we're gonna cut that out. Valentine's Day, World Cafe Live. Is there anything else you want people to know if they're coming to your launch party?
If you're coming out,
Album release, me.
Well, no launch party,
Album release.
Excuse me, either way. Well, it is actually part of a monthly session that Oren has, and it's a jam session. So the other part of it is that although we're going to play for a little bit, maybe 35, 40 minutes, we're going to give you part of the album. We're not going to give you all of it. But after that, we're going to open it up so you don't know what you're going to catch. It's going to be, I know there's going to be vocalists out.
Love it.
I know I have a violinist coming out. I know there's going to be horn players. You don't know.
That's
I'm not going to give
great.
you. Yeah, so it's going to be
exclusive, y'all. I need to get the drums coming.
It's going to be a fun time. And it's not just, the purpose is not just to celebrate my album. I mean, that's one of the reasons, but we're celebrating love, celebrating Valentine's Day, we're celebrating being outside, being together, being healthy, all that. So it's just gonna be a lot of fun.
That's gonna be beautiful. All right, y'all.
And it's free.
It's free.
Did I mention that?
It's free.
Free 99.
It's free. All right, y'all. So as y'all know, this is the pregame. We're gonna keep it brief. We're gonna talk to the greatest. Okay, and I'm gonna see y'all next Wednesday, February 14th. At the jam session / launch party / Valentine's Day love session. So all the things. All right. So now I want to talk to you about all of the other things. So what is the inspiration? So we talked about the inspiration being the people that have poured into you, but that's cute now. Day one, when you were sitting in front of your piano thinking about your next project, what sort of was the first thought that came to mind?
So it's funny with this project, I did not have this in mind when it kind of started happening. I was really just minding my own business, playing some gigs, doing some spot dates. At the time I was, because I've done some work with Seal recently, so I was going out with Seal every once in a while, working with a woman named Renee Goldsberry, one of the Schuyler sisters from, if you've ever seen Hamilton. So I was happy doing my work, and it's been a few years now since I released my last album, and Oren called me up, and he's like, yo, we're doing your next record. I was like, okay, when are we doing that?
Period.
Right. I was like, when are we doing that? And I'm thinking he's like, let's try to get in, next summer. But he's like, yeah, you think you'll be ready in like maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I was like, I can be. And I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
But you were.
Yeah, I wasn't ready, but I became ready because the thing is, especially with music, I mean, I think in any kind of art, we always want a perfect, just in life, we want a perfect situation.
Yes.
In relationships, we want a perfect. I'm just waiting for it to be perfect. Y'all been together for 7 years. Come on, you waiting for it to be perfect? Okay.
Listen.
Hey, I can't talk because
listen. Another day.
That's another conversation. But the thing is, I didn't know that I was ready, but I was ready. My last album was released during COVID, and it did what it could do, and I was happy about it. But now we're kind of in an outside of a COVID time, as far as I know, COVID is still a thing, but now we can do live shows, we can be outside, we can enjoy live music the way that we're supposed to, the way that we're meant to. So he's like, let's get this together. We need another album. And I love that. I love him for that, because was I looking to spend more money and do another album and do all it? And I really wasn't. I was kind of enjoying the work that I was doing, but he really pushed me. And at the end of the day, it became a great project. It was a great ride for me, and it's not over. It's just starting. I mean, it's just beginning, really.
100%.
So.
Okay, so we've talked about your inspiration. We sort of talked about the process. Now, if you had to give me sort of one word that distinguishes this piece of work from all of your other albums, what would be that word, that distinguishing?
Homage. Because a lot of the other work that I did My last album was kind of a Black Lives Matter content album, so there was a sense of homage there, but it was really more of an action. That was more of a fight for me.
Yeah.
This is not. There's no fight in this. There's no anger in this music. Where when I wrote "Stop and Frisk," there was anger in that. When I wrote "Brother Man in Blue," which was about me getting my butt whooped by a black police officer, there was anger and there was other kind of harsher emotions in that music. In this music, there's nothing but just homage. I'm just trying to pay homage to these great musicians, and also some of the people who I'm paying homage to. I mean, my father's one of them. He was not a musician at all. Megan Stabile, who was a musician, but she was really more of a impresario. She was a huge music advocate in New York, and she left us recently. And I wrote a song actually that funny enough, when he approached me about doing the album, I hadn't written the song, and I was kind of just moved to write it because I was like, I want Megan to be a part of this album.
That's
so
beautiful.
I wrote that song, and it was actually very easy for me to write. Sometimes music is difficult to write. You take weeks, months on it. Sometimes it just comes to you and it flows. So that song just flowed and it became a part of the project. So it's all just paying homage to certain, to a lot of people in my life.
So I can hear in your voice and your posture, and we had conversations before this, and how you've been a student to the music, and now you are an educator, and now you're mentoring and you're sort of teaching. So how did you fall into that? Or was that something that sort of was like, and now we need you to come to the stage?
So it's funny because I have kind of I've resisted teaching most of my life. Both of my parents were teachers. My dad was a physics teacher. My mom was my mother, was a math teacher. And they were like, "Oh, teaching, you should look into teaching." And I never wanted to be a teacher. I was like, I want to perform. I want to travel. I'm not going to be a teacher.
I belong on the stage.
Yeah. I want to be, I don't want to be a teacher. There's no glory in teaching, and which is partly true. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's impossible. I don't know, for me at least, maybe it's possible for some people, but it's impossible to see certain things and do nothing about it. And whether it be if you see things that you don't like in your community, or if you see just places where you could help. So this actually a program that I'm a part of right now, Mic'd Up, a friend of mine, Frank Makos, who's kind of a big deal as far as educational work in Philadelphia. He's had his hands in a lot of things. He brought me in 2 years ago, and it's been perfect for me. And I don't know what I would. Those like the youngins that I work with, they inspire me as much as the musicians that I play with. You know what I mean?
Love.
And it's even today, just like I just came from JG Sky High, and where they perform every Monday, and they had an amazing performance. I mean, one of the saxophonists, she looks up at me at one point and says, "I'm having so much fun, thank you, Mr. Luke. And she just has this twinkle in her eye.
I'm like,
I'm
not crying.
And I'm like, cool. Why she gotta be so cute when she says it too? She's all sweet and like, but really they're having. I mean, to see young ones in a position that I was in 25 years ago, and knowing that I'm actually becoming one of those people to be able to be a stepping stone for them and really help them out. I mean, it makes me think about the people who did that. I mean, that's the album too. I mean,
right.
The album is paying homage to people who've really lifted me up. So it is not fair, and it doesn't feel good to be lifted up and not to bring people with you and lift as you go. So it's become a big part of what I do. I actually am the lead mentor for that program. I teach now for the Kimmel Center. Am I going to become a 9 to 5? 5 days a week? No.
Maybe.
The answer is no. I don't have that in my blood.
Okay.
And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work because you start burning the candle at both ends. A lot of my educational work happens earlier. All my gigs happen later.
Right.
I find myself doing 12, 13, 14 hour days. I'm going up to New York a lot. First week of January, I was up in New York 5 days. I only stayed over one night, so that's back and forth, So it's not possible for me to do.
It's a lot of time on the turnpike.
Yeah, it's a lot. So it was, I don't have the ability or the bandwidth to dedicate my life full time to that. Maybe at some point, maybe when I'm no longer playing and releasing albums, which I hope I am for the rest of my life, but maybe there's a point where I want to switch it up. But for now, I'm a musician that gives back. I do my mentoring, I do my educational work, and I love it.
And you make dope albums.
Yeah, I'm doing the best I can. Appreciate it.
That's all we can ask for.
I'm doing the best I can.
All right, so now you talked a lot about how people have poured into you. How have you seen sort of that atmosphere sort of in the music scene, particularly in Philadelphia, New York, sort of Northeast? Is it communal to you and sort of people are pouring? Is there a little bit of competition, healthy competition? Like, how would you, because you've been in the game for a long time, how would you say that things have evolved? And sort of like, what's the current state?
So, I mean, I love being so close to New York. There's no place like New York. New York is more cutthroat, and you need the cutthroat. You need the competition. It's harder to find the community there. There are times where people go out to sessions and they don't get up, or they get vibed, and people kind of walk away, and it's a little. So it could, people. It's a little harder to like break into that scene and really find your people. I have my folks over there. I got my people. But in Philly, because it's a smaller scene, and also because it is the city of brotherly love, it's a tighter knit community. Even just tonight, there were with the students that I was working with, some of their teachers came out, guys that I went to college with. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
And one of the guys that I went to college with knew one of the mothers or whatever, played with her next to her neighbor. It was crazy. It's like you couldn't make this up. But it's just really, it's almost impossible to be on the Philly scene and not run into all these different cats. And the great thing, it used to be a little easier back in the Ortlieb's days. I think it was before you.
No, I've been to Ortlieb's.
Yeah, you been to Ortlieb's?
I've been to Ortlieb's.
Go ahead, okay, Mo.
Hold on, first of all.
I didn't even think you were old enough.
Listen, it's fine, it's fine. I look good.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
You do. But with Ortlieb's, that used to be the great spot to hang out with. I was 19, 20, 21, hanging out with Sid Simmons, Mickey Roker, all these old heads that played on all these albums that I used to listen to. And
you keep saying old heads. Are you an old head?
Now, I believe
As
I
in
am.
today?
I believe I am.
You the OG?
When I play ball, they call me Unc. They call me
old
old
you
head.
Unc? Oh.
I'm Unc, old head, and OG.
Okay. How does that feel?
I think it's a sign of respect. I'll take it.
Okay.
Unless they talking trash.
And then you got hurt.
And then I gotta throw a bow on them. But it was easier back in the day to be in that space where there were young folks and older folks, and now we have to search for a little bit more. But it still happens. I just played at South about a week ago, and I was playing with Byron Landon, who's he's about 50 or so, and playing with some of the cats who were kind of like cats that I look up to. Although I'm 41, but when I was 20, 25, they were doing it. They were doing what I wanted to be doing. So, there is a scene out there. There are certain sessions, certain hangs, but you got to be outside. You can't.
You got to be outside.
It's impossible to me to be a successful musician and to stay comfortable at home. And look, it's wintertime. Lots of times when I'm getting ready to go out, I'm like, shoot, like
right, exactly.
But there's such a beautiful, rich history here in Philadelphia, and that history is still being made everywhere and every day. But we have to go outside to be a part of it. We can't just.
I talk about that often. Like, although that sort of Mo.B.Outside, but like the fact that you're building community, the fact that you're looking for connection, right? Like you can have big dreams in the house, but if you want to put that into action, you want to have an action plan, you want to collaborate with some people, have some ideas that you may not have left the house with. You got to talk to somebody.
You do.
You got to be vulnerable with them, right? Because you got to put it out. You taking your baby, your dream, and talking to other people about it, right? And there's a way to do all things. And I think that one of those things is having to build that community and sort of going outside of yourself to sort of do the things.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah.
I think, to what you were saying, I think it is really important to, especially in Philly, I think it's a good place to share. Some places you can't. I've been to LA, and like I know some people in LA. They I'm not gonna talk about other cities like that, but sometimes they're like, yeah, I got an idea, but I'm keeping that close, you
Right.
know. But when you keep it close, you're not gonna let it breathe. You're not gonna get any other opinions.
Right.
But in Philly, I feel like it is a place. I was just talking to Khalif Gamble the other day. We were like, we gotta link up,
Yes.
you know. And it's just like cats like him who are like so open to like, yo, let's get some work together. Let's do this.
Yes.
And I love that. That excites me.
Yes.
That excites me. I'm not trying to keep this to myself.
I agree. I agree. I was actually talking about in the episode prior to this. So if you haven't subscribed to the Pregame, please hit that subscription button. Follow me on all the platforms. But I was literally talking about why I love Philly. And one of the things that I love Philly is the ability to build community.
Absolutely.
And to build, sort of like have those types of interactions.
Absolutely.
I also talked about having to come as your most authentic self in Philly. So I feel like you can catch a vibe in New York, you can catch a vibe in LA, you know, but in Philly, you have to sort of have your own. And when you show up with your own, and I'm curious if you agree, once you show up as yourself, like this is what I got to offer, then people will then open themselves up to, oh, you for real, you're an authentic person. You know what I mean?
I mean, Philly, like I was saying, it's small.
No, you're from Philly?
I'm not from Philly.
Where are you
No, I'm
from?
from Boston. I grew up in Boston.
Okay.
But I didn't really grow up musically in Boston because I left when I was 17, graduated from high school, and I moved to New York briefly. I came to Philly. But I've been in a lot of cities. You know, I've played in a lot of cities. I've hung out. Philly is a very authentic city, good and bad.
Yes.
You know, people will give you what they give you their full 100% of what they whether it's negative, unfortunately sometimes. I'm sure you've unfortunately
Listen, it is what it is.
But,
it is what it is.
But positive as well. So when you come to me, when you come with your authentic self, then you give people a true chance to decide whether they bang with you and decide.
Right,
if
you
they're
gotta get it
gonna
off
build
the
with you.
muscle in Philly.
Yeah. And people try it. People try it. You know, youngins sometimes try. Even older cats still try it. They still, but you know, you'll find out real quick that you will not be received. Like you're not gonna get energy, no matter. I mean,
Facts, though.
and in some
Facts.
places, again, I'm not gonna talk about other cities, but there's some cities where, like, if you look a certain way, you know, whatever, smile enough, you know, people might be like, oh yeah. Man, in Philly, they'd be like, what is this? I don't care about that coat. I don't care about the blow. I don't care that she's cute. It
At
don't
all.
matter. Can she sing? Can she play? Can he swing? Like, that's the question.
That's the only question.
So yeah, Philly's real like that. And there's some other cities, you know, Detroit is a little bit like that. Baltimore's a little bit like that. You know, but then
I'm A-okay just to talk about and show Philly love.
Yeah,
I'm A-okay with
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, no, I feel you, but no. Every time I'm playing with Philly cats outside of Philly, other cats are like, man, Philly's got something. And
Yes.
we're like, yeah.
Well, I mean-
and I claim it. I know.
I
that
mean, I'm also an honorary John. I'm from Virginia, so
From
like
Virginia,
I'm
okay.
not originally from here. So
When
like
did
I
you
claim
come-
it.
when did you come here?
05.
05. Okay. So you missed a few. So
I missed a little bit.
unfortunately, You weren't here for the 5 spot.
I was not here for the 5 spot.
Black Lily. I was like a kid in the 5 spot, hanging out with James Poyser, and it was like the Roots, Jaguar,
No, that I missed that, unfortunately.
Erykah Badu, Common,
Yeah,
all
I
them
missed
cats.
that.
You know.
But let me know in the comments. Were you there?
Were you there?
Were you there?
That was the time. And I'm not for living in the past. Like we can revisit it and talk about it, but like how we build in the future, how we bringing back that similar energy, how we, what can we do to kind of revisit certain things that used to happen that don't happen as much anymore. And we're doing that. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but on Saturday, we're starting an all ages jam session.
Ooh.
At World Cafe Live, 12 to 3. It's free. It's going to be one Saturday a month, and it's built from the Mic'd Up program that I'm helping run, and it's for those high school kids, college, but it's also all ages. So like if you say you play instrument, you feel like you're all right, but you haven't really been outside like that recently, you want to like come hang out with us,
I love it. So tell the people, where can they find you?
So you can find me on Instagram, Luke Carlos O'Reilly. Very simple. You can find me. I'm still on Facebook because Facebook still is valid. It's a different age group. You know what I mean? And why you say it like that?
No. I'm listening.
So I'm on Facebook as well. But also I have LukeCarlosO'ReillyMusic.com. I keep my website pretty up to date. And I mean, in February, you're gonna find me. You're gonna find me
Everywhere.
outside. Like,
Outside.
I have a lot going on. I'm talking about the album, and a lot of stuff is revolving around the album. But I have a lot of great things happening just this month alone. Black
Speaking
History
of
Month.
the album, can they get that on your website?
They will be able to. As of February 14th, there'll be a link, and you will be able to get the album. The album will be available for all y'all youngins. They'll be available streaming everywhere. But
Yes.
for anybody who still has a CD player, I do have a few. I got a few.
He got some
physical
signed
copies.
copies. He
Yeah, I got some signed copies. And yeah,
I always tell people when I interview them, like, I just want to be a part of the biopic. Like, I want, like, when you naming lights instead of like, I'm not
I
doing
got
it.
you.
Like, you know, they'll pull me in.
I got you. I won't forget about you. I won't forget about you. Come on now.
Thank you so much for coming to the pregame.
No, thank you for having me. And I know that you and your squad changed your times around and adjusted to everything. So I really appreciate you, and I thank you all for tuning in.
Yes.
Hey, Mo.B.Outside.
Yes. Shout out to MQ production team. Shout out to J Rich Films. We couldn't be here if it weren't for you. All right, y'all. So y'all already know I'm sending you the energy that you need to have the week you desire. I'll see you outside.